I'm shaky all the time, baby. I'm drinking coffee with nothing else in my belly. I believe in you so hard. I viscerally believe in you. Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. And if you're coming back here from Wednesday's video, I officially return all of your noses. I had all of your noses right here in my hands, and now I'm returning them back to you, so I hope you're happy with that. If you don't know what that means, then go check out my video I uploaded on Wednesday about some weird makeup packaging, because in that video I stole everybody's nose and I've been having a good time with them. We've been sitting around, we've been watching true crime documentaries, so that's been great. Check out my earrings. I'm wearing my kindergarten teacher earrings today since I'm gonna be teaching you a thing or two. These are from my good friend Shop Clochey on Instagram, and they're just so fun and whimsical and sweet, and I love them so much. But that's not what this video is about. You did not come to this video to get an update on the status of everybody's nose, and unless you watched Wednesday's video, in which case you were probably desperate to get your nose back. I'm sure you're looking to smell some stuff real bad. No, you clicked on this video because you, like me, have an interest, ooh, that was a big clap, scared me a little bit, have an interest in how to do graphic liner on hooded eyes. I personally put off starting graphic liner for a long time because I didn't think it would work for my eye shape, but I'm so glad I tried it, because guess what? It actually works really great on hooded eyes, because it's all about utilizing the space, you know? But we'll get into that real soon. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you want to hear all about how to do graphic liner on hooded eyes, then I encourage you to please subscribe, because I make a lot of graphic liner content, and keep on watching. It's coming at you right now. Okay, so this is not my first graphic liner tutorial on my channel. I actually have a video that's been kind of popping off lately, and it is the basics of graphic liner, and that was the first like real solid graphic liner tutorial I made, talking about all the brushes you need, talking about all my favorite water activated liners, a lot of good stuff in that video, so I'll definitely link that down below. But today I'm gonna be more focused on placement, more focused on the actual application. I'm not gonna be talking as much about the materials, but I'm still gonna talk a little bit about the materials, so like check out that video too, but also I'll give you the information here. So first off, we're gonna talk about what you're gonna need if you're gonna follow along with this tutorial, or what you're gonna need if you want to do it yourself later. So today I'm going to be using my by Melolops X Cut Creaser graphic liner brushes. This is a collaboration that one of my favorite indie makeup brands, by Melolops, did with one of my favorite graphic liner creators, Cut Creaser. I have a whole video reviewing these, but these have been my go-to graphic liner brushes since I got them. They are currently out of stock, but they come back in stock, I think at the end of March they just talked about. I'll put the correct date on the screen somewhere, but I think this is a great starter set. You get 4 incredible graphic liner brushes for $32, breaks down to about $8 each. They're really cool too, because look, they have these little extendable handles here, which I know we're not traveling right now, but when we are traveling, how convenient will it be to you just push them in like that, and then they get super tiny and you can pack them away like that. And they're super easy to stay out too. You just twist it, see, then they're super solid. Now they won't go in when I push them. So I love that about these brushes, and you get a really good variety. You can basically do any graphic liner look with the shaped brushes they give you. So you have the C1 brush, which is the tiniest. It's got a super teeny tiny little tip here, which is great for like tiny detail work. And then you have the C2 brush, which is my most used brush, I would say. It's like the mid-size brush here. You can definitely see it's longer than my super tiny detailed brush here. Sorry, I keep using my forehead so you can see the brushes better, but it's a little bit longer than that. I can basically do anything with this brush. I can do long lines, I can do short lines, I can somewhat do detail work, although I prefer this one for teeny tiny details. But the C2 brush, if you could only get one brush from the brush set, I would definitely recommend getting the C2 brush. Then you have your C3 brush, which I don't use often, but it's really good for super long, smooth lines. So if I wanted to do like a line like that, you can see it really just like glides along your eye there. So I like this for really long lines. And then you have the C4 brush, which kind of probably reminds you of like an eyebrow brush or an eyeliner brush. You can use a regular eyeliner brush. I do like how stiff this one is, but I'm gonna show you a trick for how you can make your eyeshadow brushes that look like this a little stiffer. So if you don't have any of these brushes right now, that's cool, you can still play. I'm gonna be doing 2 graphic liner looks for you today. I'm gonna be doing one with water activated liner, which I will be using these brushes with, and then I'm gonna be doing one with eyeshadow, which I'm going to use a regular angled eyeshadow brush like this. This one is from a really old ColourPop collection, but you can get brushes like this anywhere. I know e.l.f. makes one like this that I have too. So the way that I got this eyeshadow brush to be a little bit more like the C4 brush from the Cut Creaser collection is I take some lash glue, put it on both sides, and then squeeze it with your fingers like this, let it dry, and then look at how sharp this is. I don't even know if you can tell, but this brush could cut, this brush could kill. I have a whole video dedicated to how to do graphic liner with eyeshadow. I'll link that one down below as well, but I'm also gonna be showing you today, so you know, if you're really trying to get into graphic liner, I will link my entire playlist down below. I have so many videos with lots of hot tips, but I'm gonna be sharing new hot tips today, so still watch this video. But this is the eyeshadow brush I'm going to be using. And now let's talk about the liners I'm gonna be using. So I'm also going to be using a liner from the Cut Creaser X by Melolops collection. That's just such a good collection. They really knocked it out of the park. I think I'm gonna be using this shade, this beautiful blue. It's called Point Break, because I also have an eyeshadow that is this exact color. So when I do the 2 different eye looks, one with the eyeshadow and one with the water activated liner, I'm not trying to fool you into thinking they look exactly the same, just because you're not gonna get exactly the same look, since obviously one is a liquid and one is a powder, but I do want them to be the same color so I can show you how you can achieve the same effect with both eyeshadow and water activated liner. Because I know that water activated liner can sometimes be hard to get. A lot of the indie brands that make water activated liners are often out of stock because they're very popular right now, although By Melolops has quite a few in stock, so definitely check them out. I'll link some of my favorite brands down below. I love By Melolops. Like I said, I have their whole Cut Creaser collection, but I also have their Radioactive collection, which these are neon liners. They glow under a black light. It's very, very cool. I also have a palette from B. Taylor Beauty, which is another indie brand that I really like. They sell these more palettes like this, which is awesome. I also have some pastel liners from a brand called Be Elegant Cosmetics. I have really cute little pastel liner pots that I got in a set. And then I also have a water activated liner palette from Midas Cosmetics, which is on its way to me right now. I'm so freaking excited about it that I will be doing a review on very soon. So those are the brushes I'm working with. Those are the water activated liners I love. And like I said, I'm gonna be using the Cut Creaser one today. And then I have a blue eyeshadow from a Midas palette that I'm gonna be using as well. So yeah, now let's get into my hot tips and tutorial section. Okay, don't worry, I'm gonna zoom you in for the tutorial, but first I wanted to give you my biggest hot tip, which is to do your graphic liner before your base makeup. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, what? There's no fallout from water activated liner. It's liner. I don't have to do that. I got my routine. Don't come in here and try to mess with my routine. I don't want you to tell me what to do. That's you at me. But first of all, whoa. Also, I like to do my graphic liner first because, especially with hooded eyes, I find it very helpful to kind of use my face to steady my hand. A lot of people ask me all the time, like, how do you get your lines to be so smooth? How do you have such a steady hand? You must have really steady hands. I don't. I'm shaky all the time, baby. I'm drinking coffee with nothing else in my belly. I know that's not good. Don't do that. I don't recommend it. But I don't have very steady hands. But what I do is I use my face to steady my hands. And you will see that as I'm doing the tutorial section of this. But I just wanted to give you that is a big tip that helped me a lot, is to do your base makeup afterwards, because when you're leaning on your face like that, you know, it messes up your blush and everything. I've tried doing the base makeup first. Also, maybe I'm just bad at base makeup. I don't know. Maybe I'm bad at setting my base makeup. If you feel confident and leaning your hand on your face with your base makeup done, that's great. You do you. But for me, I find it helpful to do the liner first. Also, another hot tip, don't use a matte eyeshadow primer. Don't do it. You're gonna regret it, especially when you're just starting out with graphic liner. I prefer to just go in with a skin tone colored shadow to set my eyes and to, you know, cover up any veins or anything that might be showing. That's what I did today here. You can see I got some pretty good base going on, but the reason that I like to use just a skin tone colored shadow rather than an eyeshadow primer is because if you make a mistake, it is so much easier to fix with a Q-tip when you don't have a super mattifying shadow primer on. on. When I first started out, I was still using my Wet n Wild eyeshadow primer, which is an amazing drugstore eyeshadow primer. It really helps my shadows last, but when I was messing up on my graphic liner, it was so hard to fix because that primer had really held it in for me, you know? So it kind of forced me to completely start over, whereas when you just use a skin tone colored shadow, you can very easily just wipe the product away. So that is another hot tip for you. My last hot tip, and then I promise we will get into the tutorial section, is to tweeze before you get into your graphic liner. And I'm not talking about tweezing your eyebrows, because if you like to let your eyebrows grow in bushy, same, I love it. I'm trying to get back to that bushiness that I tweezed away when I was 13. But I'm talking about tweezing this area of your eyes. And you're probably like, what? I don't have hair on that area of my eyes. Everybody has hair there. And here's the thing, even if you don't have dark hair like I do, you have these little peach fuzzy hairs here, and you're probably like, what's the big freaking deal? Like, who cares? You can't see them. But the big freaking deal is that when you go to do your graphic liner, especially if you're using water activated liner, it'll draw attention to those hairs. So trust me, I've been there a million times. I've tried to tweeze the hairs after doing the graphic liner. It's not nearly as fun as just doing it before. So I highly recommend just going in, look in a little magnifying mirror, look real up close, look for those hairs, and just tweeze them out before you start. It's gonna make it so much easier for you, and that way you don't have to deal with those stray hairs sticking up and messing up your water activated liner. Okay, are you ready for the tutorial? Great, let's get into it. All right, so we're gonna start off with my water activated liner side. I'm gonna do it on this side right here, and like I said, I'm gonna be using the Cut Creaser X by Melolops water inks. I love this collection. I love these colors. I'm gonna be going in with my C2 brush. That's the mid-size brush, not the teeny tiny detailed brush, but the mid-size one. I'm also gonna link down below a nail art brush set that I used before getting these Cut Creaser brushes that work almost as good and are way cheaper. So if you don't have the accessibility to buy these right now, I totally understand. This nail art brush set is like $8 or $9. A link down below for you. It has all of the same brushes in it, so that is an option for you as well. But since I have the By Melolops brushes, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna dip it into my water here. I know it looks murky. It's not. I was just cleaning it with my brushes before. It's totally fine. And then I'm gonna dip that wet brush into my water activated liner. Sometimes I gotta double dip. You don't want to add so much water to your water activated liners that it gets like sheer, because that's the whole thing with water activated liner, is the more water you add, the more sheer it will be. I like my product to be pretty solid, so I just add enough water to completely saturate my brush, no more or no less. So I'm going to be showing you a pretty basic shape today, definitely a beginner friendly shape, and definitely a shape that you can achieve. You can totally do it. I believe in you so hard. I viscerally believe in you. Okay, now when I'm doing my graphic liner, I like to start with my top line here, and I like to try and follow my brow bone essentially for this shape in particular. So what I'm gonna do is go to where my brow starts, start here, and then I'm gonna draw a line like this. I'm kind of gonna flick it out like a wing. So starting right under where my brow starts, just going here and then going down a little bit. Flicking it up. Ooh, that's a good line. I really like the way that turned out. That's fun. And then now what I'm gonna do, because as you get to the end of the line, sometimes the color will peter out a little bit, you know, because you have the most product on your brush at the beginning. So what I'm gonna do is dip into my little pot here again, and then I'm gonna go backwards. You don't have to go backwards. You could totally just like start here and go to the end, but I like to go backwards, just filling in that sparse area. And sometimes if my brush gets a little dry, rather than dip into the pot again, I'll just dip in directly to the water, which is what I just did. Ugh, do you see what I'm saying about those hairs? Do you see what I'm saying about those little hairs? I don't know if you can see it, but I have like a slight little bump right here because there's a little hair that I didn't tweeze. Let me see if I can show you me taking it out. Yep, see, so I just took out that hair where it left the little bump there. It would have been easier if I did before. I didn't see it, it's fine. And now I'll just go back in and fill over that area. But that's good, I got to make an example of the importance of tweezing this area of your eye before doing your liner. You definitely don't have to take your line as far out as I went. I just am a dramatic lady and I like dramatic lines. So that's why I took mine out this far, but now we're going to move on to my bottom line down here, and I'm just gonna connect it to up here. That's why I like to do this line first, because sometimes if you do your bottom line first, you're limiting yourself to how high you can take your lines. So I like to start top first, but it's just all personal preference, you know. Sometimes I go back and forth between the two so I can connect them easier, but that's just what I was feeling today. Okay, so I've re-wet my brush, and now I'm going to start right at where my lash line ends here, and I'm gonna connect it to the top. Gonna go over it again and just thicken it up a little bit. Nice. Ooh, my other tip for hooded eyes is, you notice when I'm doing all of this, I have my eye completely open so I can really see the shape and make sure my lines are super straight, because I know a lot of times with hooded eyes we want to like go like this when we're doing stuff so that we can like see the whole lid space, but that's not how you walk around in your daily life. So you want to keep your eyes like this while you're doing it, so you can make sure you know what it's gonna look like when other people are seeing your eyes, you know? Okay, now you could stop here. This is a very cute liner shape. I love all of the negative space in the middle. I'm a very big fan of this shape. I am just gonna do one more line. I'm gonna do your standard wing line here to connect it over here, because I like to put a little something on my hooded eye here. Give my little hood lid area something to work with. So I am just gonna do a very basic line here, and oops, got a random dot there. And then I'm gonna connect it. If you do accidentally do what I just did and get a random little dot on your lid there, what you want to do is let it completely dry before you remove it, because if you go in with a Q-tip while it's still wet, it's going to be a lot harder to get it off. Kind of like with mascara. If you get mascara on your lids, you know how it's like really tempting to like just wipe it away right away, but if you let it dry, it comes off way easier. Same sort of a deal. Okay, I feel good about that. That looks super, super cute in my humble opinion. Now let's move on to the other eye, where I'm going to show you how to do the same thing but with eyeshadow. Okay, now for the eyeshadow side, I'm gonna be using this Midas Cosmetics Flower Bomb palette. That's just because it has this beautiful shade Hummingbird in it here, which as you can see is like pretty close to the exact shade of the water activated liner. So that's what I'm gonna be doing, just because again, I'm not trying to like dupe myself. I'm not trying to make it look like exactly the same, because eyeshadow versus water activated liner are very different textures, but I wanna show you that you can achieve virtually the same look by using both water activated liner and eyeshadow. Okay, so for the eyeshadow side, like I said in the beginning, I'm gonna be using this angled liner brush that I put lash glue on and pinched with my fingers here. If you wanna see me do that live in person, well not in person, but on the computer screen, then you can watch my how to do graphic liner with eyeshadow that I'll link down below. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is tap my brush into the eyeshadow. You can see I'm not like dragging it or anything. I'm just kind of tapping it because it's very stiff here, so I'm not trying to like swirl it around or anything. Now I'm gonna tap off my brush in case there's any excess, and I'm essentially gonna do the same thing I did with the water activated liner. Now I might have to layer it a little more to make it look opaque, so doing the same thing, starting at where my brow starts and just kind of dropping it down a little bit here. Actually, I wonder what would happen if I wet my brush. I don't know if I've ever wet my brush and tried this with a matte shadow before. Let's check it out. Let's just see. Okay, wetting my brush here. I'm just dipping it into the shadow again, tapping it off. Let's see if that gives us a little more opacity. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so if you're going for stronger opacity right from the jump, then I would recommend wetting your brush first. Take your time, you know, no rush. If anyone's rushing you, tell them to relax. You're doing graphic liner, it's fine. You see how much I'm leaning on my face here? See, that's why I don't do my base makeup first, because I've tried it before and I'll just have like a handprint of where my hand was here because I just go like that. But it really helps steady my hand, and it really helps me to get nice crisp lines. Like, I don't know, it's just, this is so uncomfortable to me to try to hold my hand way out here. It's like, I gotta use my face to steady me. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about that line. I think wetting the brush was the way to go here. I think I might have wet my brush last time I did this, so wet your brush beforehand. I'm just using a setting spray, but I've used water before, so whatever you want to do. Dipping into that shadow again. Okay, now I'm gonna do this line, but on that side, we're gonna do another connecting business. I definitely think this line is easier. Once you get through this line, it's smooth sailing from there. And when you use the lash glue to pinch this brush and make it super tight, it is amazing how stiff this gets. It essentially functions exactly like the cut creaser brush, which is like really nice and stiff at the top here, but it's just an eyeshadow brush. I think I saw Cut Creaser do this on Instagram, and that's how I learned this tip. I wish I remember the exact person I learned this tip from, but it truly is a game changer to put lash glue on your brush, pinch it a little bit. You don't even have to let it dry that long. I just re-pinched mine like an hour ago and it's already dry and ready to go. So that is a super easy thing that you can do right now, as long as you have lash glue. I don't know how regular glue would work, so please don't try regular glue and then blame me if it ruins your brushes, because I don't know how that would work. So use lash glue, it's plenty strong enough. Okay, wetting the brush one more time. And now we're just gonna do our regular wing line here, like we did on the other side. Pulling it all together, if you will. This is the only time that I'll like kind of close my eyes a little bit, just because it helps me get closer to the lash line, but I make sure to constantly check in and make sure it still looks good with my eyes facing forward like this. All right, and I'm feeling pretty good about the way that looks. I know if you look like super up close, you can definitely tell this one is more like opaque, you know, it's got more of like that bold color, whereas this one is a little more mild. But if you come back here, then like it's the totally same vibe. It gives the same graphic liner vibe. I think in photos nobody would know that you're wearing eyeshadow's graphic liner. So real quick, let me just do the rest of my face real quick, put some mascara on, put some base makeup on, and then we will come back and wrap up all my thoughts, give a few more hot tips, and then we'll go our separate ways until the next video. Okay, be right back. All right, literally a million years later, but my makeup is all done. Let me give you one more zoom in on the final look here. So I got some glitter on my eyes here. I added mascara, but this is my graphic liner look. You got your water activated liner side here. You got your eyeshadow side here. I think they look pretty close. Obviously, like I said before, you know, this one's a little more pigmented because it's water activated liner. This one's eyeshadow, but I love that you can achieve the same effect using both. And I feel like the key takeaway I want you to take away here, my biggest tip and takeaway for my hooded eye friends, is placement. You can do graphic liner, it just might not be in the same place as somebody without hooded eyes. So you see how I really utilize this brow space up here, because that's where I got the majority of my real estate. My actual lid, you can like barely see. I put some glitter here, so now it's especially hard to see, but my actual lid space ends like right here. So I like to really take advantage of all of this space between where my lid goes into the hood and where I have my brow here, and just take advantage of that real estate. You know, it's prime real estate. It's for sale right now, on sale. I don't know any real estate terms, but it's a good place to work with. So I definitely recommend, don't be afraid to come right up to that eyebrow, and also to use your eyebrow to figure out where you want your line to go. You know, it's all good. The brows are helpful. You better take advantage of those beautiful brows of yours, because they're gonna help you out greatly. But I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I would definitely love to answer them for you down below. Let me know if there's any other graphic liner tutorials you would like to see. If you want to see more graphic liner content from me, give me a big thumbs up. That way I know that you like this sort of content. So I thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like I said, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I barely breathe during sentences apparently. But yeah, I post 3 times a week. It's always a good time. It's good, fun, fresh time. And yeah, thank you. Check out my description box for all of the other videos I mentioned in this video. I'm also going to link some brushes down below. It's going to be a really jam-packed description box for you today, so definitely check that out. Also in my description box, I will have a bunch of Black Lives Matter resources. I'll have petitions to sign, places to donate, and ways to help protesters, so please click on those links if you haven't yet. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Ooh, little baby hands. I feel like this is how babies wave goodbye. Okay, bye. Bye, friends. Okay, bye.